Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How's it going? What's going on? We are doing a standing stream today because I feel like it. So I'm up and about. Anyways, we're gonna be working more on the tutorial today. We already have the system working. It's just gonna be creating the menu that displays the previous tutorials, which I don't think will take very long. I think it's gonna take like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something. All we have to do is just create a menu and then populate it with buttons for all the tutorials, so should be pretty easy, I think. Yeah. And that'll all be good to go. I've also got some new stuff to show off. So we can go do that in just 1 second here. Move everything around. Open up Starground. Alright. So. Something that I've wanted for a really long time in Starground was like UI sounds. So sounds when you would hover over a button, click on it and stuff like that. But I don't know. I never really figured out a good way to do it. Until now. I figured out a way for me to make all the buttons have sounds without having to replace any of them with new classes. So I want to show that off. Yeah, I'm glad I figured it out. I just found some random mention of a signal somewhere and I was like, oh my god, that's what I need. As the game loads, come on. So now, all the buttons in the game make noises. When you click on them, they all make noises. Also, something too is it's hard to hear right now because the music is blaring. But scroll bars also make noises. Same with sliders. So yeah, it's pretty epic. And I also added a volume slider in case you don't like the UI noises, you can just mute it. But I'm glad that I added it. Definitely makes the UI feel a little more responsive, I feel like. You know, when I click on these things, it's like I get that feedback, auditory feedback of like, oh yeah, I successfully clicked on that button. So yeah, there's still more nodes that I could probably add sounds to, like maybe when I grab focus of a line edit and stuff. I'm probably also gonna work on adding more variations, just stuff like that. We'll see. But this is good for now. Anyways, I think the tutorial's basically ready to go. Got the new system working. I also went through the translation sheet and changed a bunch of, like, just, you know, the words of it and stuff. Because I think there were a few things in there that could be improved. Kind of mainly just personalizing it so it's more like Gearbert's talking versus whatever it was before. So yeah. Now I can give myself stone. Building. Yeah, every single button will now make that sound. Including like these ones. All these ones. Sometimes I get random lag spikes. I'm not really sure what those are from. I don't think it's from the change with the buttons. It's hard to say. We can keep the profiler on. It might just be an editor moment. So. Yeah, the research menu works. We can click on all the things. So yeah. It's nice. It'll work. Anyways, let's build the furnace. I also spent a little time working on the, like the symbols that show up in things. So I just have a more standardized, like, function for actually grabbing those symbols. Same with the controller. If I boot it up, turn it on, all the symbols will be correct now. And update with whatever I rebind them to. So like if we go to options and controls and rebind something in here. I don't think I have binds for the left and right things, but like if I rebind chat, oops, I saved the screenshot. Okay, apparently I do need to fix that. Let's like rebind it to, see that binded it to back, but I could do like, yeah, I just closed out the menu. Okay, that did bind it to start. Looks like the start icon doesn't update. So, yeah, I have to link up I have a signal for when input is changed or when keybinds have changed, so we'll make that work. Yeah, clearly the rebinding right now doesn't really work a controller because the minute you press A, it just binds it to A. So we do need to fix that. I'll be working on that. I don't really want that one binded to anything. Oh, here, let's just reset our binds. But yeah, anyways. So I want to add the tutorial menu. I'm still deciding where I want to do it. But I'm conflicted. I think there's two ways we could go about this. We could have some buttons like kind of like on the screen. Almost sort of how Factorio does it, where like in Factorio you have your little hotbar down here, then there's like some buttons down here for different things you can do. And there is one down there for like creating a blueprint and stuff like that. So wave your mind. So, I don't know. I have to think about what we want to do here. We could go that route, or the tutorial menu would just be in the pause menu here, and you could just click a button and view the previous tutorials. I mean, that's also fine, but I don't know. It's hard to say which one we actually want to go with, right? So I'm not sure. I mean, if anybody right now in stream has any suggestions, let me know. If you have a preferred one. But yeah. Otherwise, we'll just have to, I don't know, experiment. See what we want to end up doing. It's so slow in here. Is it just the visual profiler? No. I don't know. It's just that I'm streaming. And in the editor. Goodbye, blueprints. Okay. Here. It's just hard to say what's going to be the right way, right? We could also have some buttons over here in the corner too. I mean, I don't want to crowd the UI up too much, you know, but it is an option. We could kind of mock up some designs, so let's just go ahead and take a screenshot and like put the buttons down, see what we think. Gearbert. So if we had buttons over in the corner, it'd kind of be like this. Get some kind of gray. I don't know how big they would be or anything. They'd probably just be like little square buttons like this. So like one would be like blueprint menu, and it would show a little bind on the corner of like what you have to press to open it. And you could also use your mouse to click on it and open it too if you want, but so we'd have those. It'll be blueprint menu and tutorial menu. So that's one option. And then we also have the ability to put more down there later on, right? If we have more buttons or more like sub screens or whatever. I mean, we could also put like all of the binds down there, you know, for like research and stuff. I don't know if that's something that we'd want to do, but we could. It's hard to say though. I don't know. Well, we'll figure that out. For now, let's just go ahead and make the tutorial menu. I might just temporarily bind it to T or something. So I'll add a new action, call tutorial menu. I don't think anything else is binded to T, so it should be okay. Hey, Paladin, welcome in. How's it going? Alright, let's go to player. So we're going to create a tutorial menu. Yeah, all this one is going to be is just kind of just a menu showing off all the previous tutorials. So let's see, where do we want it? We want it somewhere around here. Ooh, okay, add. We want a margin. And call this tutorial menu. Fine, I think I found some kind of vision for the prototype I showed you last time, if you remember. Ah, yeah, nice. That's cool stuff. And you doing pretty good. Just kind of wrapping up the tutorial changes that we did last stream. I also added in UI sounds. I actually spent the time going back through and changing all of my UI elements to a custom like audio class, but then I realized that was stupid and I found a better way to do it. There's a signal if you called getTree.node added or node created or whatever. It will run that function whenever a node is added anywhere. So I can just say, is it a button node? If so, connect the signal of press to audio or whatever, right? So it makes it extremely convenient for adding sounds to everything. So now when you hover over things, once it loads. Yeah, I was messing around with this last night. Come on. Come on, game. Oh my goodness, game. Come on. There we go. So you can see, I can hover over things and has sound. It's crazy. But yeah, works pretty well. So we're not on focus signal and buttons or something? There is. That's basically what I'm using. I just wanted to find a way to do that for every single button that I've already added into the project without having to go through and connect each and every single signal manually. So it's all automatic. If there's a button in Starground, it will make a sound. So yeah, this is pretty convenient. I also added a slider in case people don't like the UI sounds. So you can mute it if you want. But yeah. I think it's nice. It just gives a little more feedback, right? For like whether a button is being hovered or whatever, whether you clicked it. It's just nice. I tried to make the sounds not too obnoxious. I might still kind of revise them, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, the code for it is extremely simple. I can just show you guys what I did. So I'm just connecting this check audio signals to node added, the signal in the tree. And then if it's a button, connect mouse entered and focus entered to the hover noise. If it's a slider or a scroll bar, then it does kind of the same things, but also on value change, it plays this light click. And then for tab containers, it also plays a click, just stuff like that. But what's nice about this is if there's another UI control, or yeah, any kind of UI node I want to add in here to make a sound, I just say lf node is whatever my node is, and then I can do it. So it's really nice and flexible and convenient. It means people that mod stuff in don't have to manually set up signals for sounds. This is good. But yeah, the tutorial rectangle stuff, we got that all worked out. I figured out kind of the way I want it to look, so this is what we got now. Gearbert's in his own little separate section, which is better because then this doesn't get all weird and scaling. This box still extends out like normal, but now it's kind of its own little separate thing. And then Gearbert also shrinks and fades out after you complete a tutorial like that. And I think it looks nice because then this doesn't just like snap in and out. And it still kind of shrinks down and extends out from the top corner, you know? Which is something I wanted. So I think it looks okay. Gets the job done, for now at least. Might tweak it more another time, but I think it's okay. Anyways. So we got this tutorial menu here. So all this is going to be is just, it's going to be almost the exact same as like the research menu. Might as well just go copy the research menu, honestly. Let's do that. So we're just going to duplicate the research menu, call it tutorial menu. And let's go modify. So I really need to close my things. I have like a bajillion things open. Let's save and close. Save and close. I think everything is okay. All right, so here's our new tutorial menu. Let's also go ahead and close all these scripts. Got to do that every once in a while. Still don't know why Godot doesn't do that automatically, but whatever. Okay, this is going to be tutorial menu. So we're going to keep this list over here, but we're going to simplify it a lot, so we don't need that anymore. We don't need the underline. I mean, I don't like... I wouldn't close them if I didn't have to. The only reason I do it is because there's just so many scripts in Starground that it actually starts to lag if I don't. So, it's annoying. Otherwise, I wouldn't mess with it. So delete that. Alright, so this is going to be the thing that holds all of our buttons. And it's just going to be a list of all the buttons and the name of the tutorial or whatever. So yeah. Pretty simple. The underline. And then we're going to have our right pane, which we're also going to simplify because we won't have any of this stuff now. It's literally just going to be a rich text label. I mean, I suppose we could have the name be a separate thing, kind of like that, and then delete all this stuff. So this is sort of how it would work. And then we just add a rich text label. We enable BB code, fit content, layout, expand. Actually, I don't think we want fit content because let's just see what happens here. If it gets too long, it should turn to a scroll bar. Yeah, we're good. All right, so that is literally it. Now we're just going to change this to tutorials. I just want a simple little menu for people to go back and preview tutorials if they missed it or whatever. Just need to see it again, you know? Now we're going to swap out this script with a new one. This will be tutorial info. Call it tutorial controller. Basic code in here. So some of this will still be sort of the same, but we're gonna be deleting a lot of this. Like, we don't need this set research or anything like this. Request data. We don't even need any of these. We don't even need that either. So get rid of that stuff. So this is just going to be for I in global.tutorials. And that's all we're going to do there. And then we're going to load in the button. We're going to set the ID and whatnot. Say button.tutorial ID is that. Parent reference is self. Set multiplayer authority. And then we say buttons box.add child. We don't need any of that stuff. We don't need any of that either. Okay. And then I don't even think we need any of that either. Yeah. And we don't need any of that. All right, we'll just have another thing that's like var. I mean, we don't even need that really. Okay. So now to the research button, which will actually be even more simple. Honestly, we don't even need to really... something I've been doing is like not instantiating a previously existing button, but just saying button.new, and then we just modify it. Because we can set a button.set meta, so we can set ID to our key, our ID of the tutorial. It's just an easier way to do it. And then we also say button.pressed.connect change text, right? Then down here, function change text. So it's pretty easy. The only thing here, though, is I need to know, like... Or I guess I could do change text.bind I. And now we have ID up here, which is a string. If our tutorial data is tutorials.get I. So that's basically it. Yeah, it's just easier to do it this way. Well, technically, we don't even need to set the meta then, because we're just connecting it to whatever that is. So it's even more simple. We'll also go ahead and get our tutorial data here. So we'll say that. We'll say for ID. And just say if tutorial data. Then we do this stuff. ID. And then now what we're going to do here is just set the text. So we're going to say button dot text is equal to tutorial data dot name. That should all be good to go. So now over here, whenever we press the button to change the text, we are going to say that dot text is equal to tutorial data dot I think it's just called text. And then we're also going to set the name. Text is equal to tutorial dot name. So this should literally be it. The only other thing we have to do is like a keybind to actually open the menu, which is extremely easy. Let's just go back up to the player. Boom. There's a couple things we need to do in here. We have to modify UI open here. Just say also if canvas dot visible, like that. I kind of do want to work on maybe revising the UI code a little bit for the player because it's kind of stupid. But Now, which one is it? Looks like I don't actually have it in there. Tutorial menu. Okay, cool. There we go. So down here is where like all of this stuff happens. Yeah, see, I also need to do stuff like this. It'd be better if I just had some kind of like, I don't know, better way to do the inventory stuff, right? Yeah. So I think I'm just gonna have a list of UIs up here, and we're gonna iterate through that list instead. I just want to figure out a better way to do this, because right now it's a little bit of a mess. I'll just call it a UI menus. And this will just be an array of all of our things. So basically it's what UI open is. Just copy all those. And we'll paste all these in. So we got the research menu, got the inventory, the building inventory, the tool wheel, which I guess is technically a menu. And all these guys. So now whenever we add a new menu, we can just pop it in here and all the code will be automatically handled. So we're going to go down and do that now. Because yeah, I'm just not happy with the way that I have to go through all the code and change it every single time. It's bad. So down where we mentioned UI open, now what we can do here instead is say by default UI open is false. And then for I in UI menus, we can say if it's visible, then UI open is true. And we say return. Or not return. Whoops. Break. So now we don't need that anymore. And then it's just going to be the same thing down here with like this cancel function. Now we can just handle that differently. Stuff like that. UI open doesn't seem to care about the pause menu, it looks like. Yeah. Okay. Got the build preview. So this is doing the initial pause. You can see there's like all these things, right? Yeah, it's just better to not do this. So we're gonna have another function now that's just gonna be called like close UI. Somewhere in here. Wherever we want to do that, doesn't really matter. For I in UI menus, IDA visible is false. And then I want to check specifically if it's the inventory. It'll run like close inventory instead. So if I.name is equal to UI inventory, then we're going to say close inventory. Otherwise, we just set it to visible false. So that really simplifies a lot of this now. We can also go ahead and just create another function here really quick, which is instead of close UI, it's function open UI. And then what we'll first say is close UI to close all the other ones, right? And now we're going to say open whichever one we passed in. And then we just say node.visible is true. Should be pretty easy. So let's go down back into our code and now make everything work with those new functions. I'm just tired of how it is right now. Really what we want to reference is just look for anywhere where we say like research menu and stuff, right? So, great example here, right? We say if the pause menu is already open, then we close that first. Otherwise, if we have a different UI open, we're just gonna say close UI. And we do also have this close inventory. I think I already set that up. Yeah. And we also have this current close menu delay. We're going to be using that too. I'm going to tool that out. And I'll say if I.visible, because if it's not visible, we don't want it to happen. All right. Back down to our stuff. So this is opening up like all of the different things, right? That's the pause one, so that one's okay. See, why am I setting that one to visible false? It doesn't make any sense. So we'll just say if UI open, UI close, right? That's it. Or close UI, whatever it's called. Because otherwise, if chat is not selected, then we say toggle pause, yeah. And I'm just commenting these out for now. I gotta make sure that the UI is fine and normal, because that would be bad if it wasn't. All right, so these are all of our, like, opening up the UIs, and as you can see, there's a lot of them, and it's kind of a mess. So there's another reason I wanted to make these functions. Because we have the research menu, blueprint menu, it just keeps on and on. So now instead what we're going to do is say if we press the building menu, open UI, canvas display building menu. Now we don't have to do any of this stuff down here, right? So those will go invisible. Something we will have to do in here is sometimes this is like a toggle, like this one. It's saying if that one's already open, then just close that one. So we do have to watch out for that. We could change, or we could have another function. One, we have open UI, but we could also have like toggle UI. So we say, right, if node.visible, then we just say node.visible is false, else open UI node. That should be it. So back down to our stuff, or Building menu. Oh yeah, also I want to add this line too back up in close UI. We're just gonna make sure that that thing's not visible. Or actually, that only happens when we open a UI. And I'll just say if node.visible. Then do that. All right, back down to our stuff. So yeah, all these ones. So we're gonna say on this one actually toggle UI instead. Same with blueprint. Toggle UI, blueprint menu. What these functions also allow is moddable UI too, which will be nice. So hopefully we can get that kind of working. This one will say toggle UI, canvas research menu. Just tuned in. Is this the prototype or Starground? This is Starground today, yeah. I am currently just kind of redoing some code about how we handle our opening and closing of UI. Just because I added another menu. It's like a tutorial. It's a menu that has the list of all the tutorials. So yeah. It was just before the way that I was doing it, it was a mess. So I want to do better. Start chat is fine. So now if I like pop another UI onto the player, it's super easy. There's not really anything I have to change. And let's just make sure that like there is no other spot where I'm manually closing it. Let's just search research menu. See, we have this here. This is open inventory. For some reason, we do all that stuff. Or we say that stuff is no longer visible. Yeah, we don't need to do that anymore. I'm just gonna say close UI there. Then also we say close pause. Then we just set that one to true. Yeah. So now we don't need to reference all that stuff. Yeah, technically we don't even need to reference player inventory, do we? Let's see. Player inventory visible. That's what this is. Say player inventory. Okay, we do need that bit of code, but we don't need these now. Building our research inventory. That just simplifies that code a little bit. I don't think we even need to say close pause because it's impossible to open up this menu if the pause menu is open, so. Then this one is okay down here. That's just closing our inventory. Opening the pause menu. All right, let's keep checking all our things. All right, looking good. So let's try this out. Hopefully this works. But yeah, Louis, we might swap over to the other game today, just for a little bit, maybe. If that's something that you would like me to. All right, let's go ahead and just load this save. Make sure all the UI opens properly. And we'll also test it with the controller just to make sure. Oh yeah, the tutorial menu. I blundered. I didn't actually assign the button box. Let's try this again. All right. Continue our last save. Let's see, visible on a type of null instance, huh? I might have accidentally entered in the wrong UI here. In UI menus, we've got canvas, UI inventory, inventory display building, research menu, tutorial menu, battle pass, blueprint menu, and tool wheel should be okay. Canvas, tool wheel, tool wheel. Oh, we have to say on already. That's probably the issue. Let's try that again. It could very well be the issue. Hey, Oshik, welcome in. Just in time. Look at what I added. I added sounds to the UI. What do you think? What do you think, Oshik? Is it good? I figured out a way. There's a signal just called add node added. So I can just check, is it a button? And if so, then just connect the pressed and hover signals up to playing audio. So yeah. Right now I'm just kind of revising the way that menus and stuff are opened and closed. Doing this also means it opens us up for the possibility of moddable player UI. There is already kind of moddable player UI, but more of like a menu that you can open, right? So everything seems okay. Except now I can't open my inventory for some reason. So that one's broken. Oh, it's like it's not actually visible or something. Yeah, Gearbert's up there now. I fixed all the issues with the animated texture rect, and it's working pretty well. If you wanted that node, I can send it to you. I'll probably go through and clean up a couple other things, but I tried to make it nice and, you know, good. Basically the way that you do it is you just pop in the sprite sheet and then it continually swaps out the texture of the actual texture rect. And yeah, the set and get functions, I didn't realize that also works for like stuff in code. So that's very interesting. I think I'm probably going to use those way more now. I just didn't know that's how they worked. I thought it was like you had to actually call set or whatever, but no, that kind of changes everything. So all the UI here seems to be opening, except for some reason the tutorial. Oh, the switch is wrong. I didn't actually add the keybind. I added to Godot. I don't think it's up to par for Godot stuff, but because it doesn't like, it kind of just, it's a little hacky in a way, I feel like, compared to what an actual node would be, but maybe. I'd have to learn some C++. And if I were to do that, we'd probably link it up to the animated sprite resource or whatever that is, the sprite frames. So yeah. All right, I should be able to open the tutorial menu now. Cool, so this just shows a list of all the tutorials and you can click on these and that's about it. I just want somewhere where we have like a repository of these things, you know? So this works pretty well. I don't know why I'm still mining when I'm in this UI. I guess that just does happen. Like if I'm in the building menu and stuff, I can still mine. That is something I should fix. Make it so I can't mine anymore when you're in UIs. Yeah. You know, you could add it even hacky, then people will work on it because they see there's demand. Yeah, I could. I don't know, I'll see. I could always just put it up as something like on the asset store. See if it's actually something that like people want. Then if it is, then yeah. So what I'm gonna do for OpenUI are some things that I do for the other UIs. Like, for example, in close and open inventory, I say can move. Well, I can move, I just don't want to interact. That's what we're gonna say, is can interact is false. So if we open a UI, can interact is false. If we then close a UI, we say can interact is back to true. Also up here, if we're closing all of the UIs. Visible, and I say any of those. And I say can't interact is true. So let's try this. Should fix our issue with the mining. Yeah. But it doesn't let me get back out of the menu, so I think these are actually reliant upon can interact, which is odd. There's got to be another variable that I use for that then. See, also now I can't. Yeah, it kind of breaks everything, so we got to work on that. So it's not can interact. What is it? Let's go back down to where we open up, for example, the research menu, because I know that that doesn't do the weird stuff. So if I just pressed research menu right here. I don't set anything weird in there. Yeah, I think it's can mine. Close inventory, set to visible. Or maybe it's just that my UI open is not calculating properly. I think that's what it actually is. Because I set it to false first, and then... No, it should be okay, because if any of those are visible, we say UI open is true. Just go ahead and print what UI open is, just to make sure. Because what should be happening is the UI open check. It's going to be like, hey, if your UI is open, you can't mine, or whatever, right? So let's double check this. All right. Might also redo the input stuff then too. Okay, so UI is closed, obviously. If I open my inventory, then it says UI is open, but I can still mine. So clearly the game is not checking if UI is open for that. Which I should never be able to mine or interact if I'm inside of a UI. So really I should just fully block it, right? And not UI open. I can't think of a time where I want to interact while I'm inside of a UI. That still seems to be mining? Oh, I guess that's only for my weapon. Isn't it? How is this possible? Is it like UI open is turning back to false or something? It is somehow. That's really odd. Well, that's the issue. Yeah, because this didn't happen before. Okay, well then where the heck is UI open being changed? Let's just search anywhere where I say equal. Because we set it to true. That shouldn't be possible. Oh. I accidentally instantiated a new variable. That's what was happening this whole time. All right. So number 4, welcome in on YouTube. This is Starground. It's sort of a combination between automation and dungeon crawling. Right now we're just messing around with some UI stuff right now. Yeah, there we go. Now we're back to normal. If a UI is open, we cannot do the stuff. Cool. So for some reason, the inventory, though, is still, like, it's not showing up. So we have to figure out why. But should be pretty easy. It's just saying if we pressed inventory and it's visible. So we're going to say toggle UI canvas UI inventory. Oh, that's because... Well, no, it should say open UI. Oh, I guess we're just not doing open inventory properly, so that's fine. I'm going to change this function to close all UI. Oh, Godot. And then we can have a like one that's specifically closing one. Because yeah, then we can just run this code. See, now we just say close UI that. And then here we say if node is visible. If it's the inventory, we say close inventory. Otherwise, we just make it invisible. Yeah. So when we open UI now, we close all UI, but instead of just saying node visible true, we have to do this check again. It's not a big deal. We just say open inventory here. Player inventory visible. I think we keep all that the default. Let me go check how I did that before. When I said open inventory down here. Just make sure I didn't accidentally change the settings or whatever. I don't think I did, but... Okay, I just said open inventory true. So what does that even do? Player inventory visible? Yeah. Looks fun. Do you have any advice for writing scripts? Like GD script code? Yeah. I think definitely learn about like documentation and stuff because it just helps a lot with a lot of things. So I highly recommend that. Getting good at documentation means that like you don't ever run into an issue that you can't figure out or a node that you don't understand. Because if you don't, then you can just pull up the documentation. Like if I don't know what an audio node is, there's this little button in the corner. It's a little magnifying glass with doc. You just click on that and then it opens up the documentation for this node. It's extremely helpful. Just understanding what properties are and methods and all this stuff and signals. If you know what these are, then this is basically your Bible for how to program, you know? This is always what you're referring to. So that's probably the biggest thing I would say. Otherwise, I think it's just important to just practice and learn the syntax and stuff of GD script, obviously. Another really important part of programming, I mean, obviously you have to write the code, but I think more importantly, it's more about designing. Like, how do you structure your code and the logic behind everything? Just think about what the ultimate goals and stuff of your game are. Like, I wish I designed the UI opening code better. That's why I'm going back and creating functions for it, because it's so much easier now, and we can decrease the number of repeated lines. But yeah, just like think about all the use cases and try and do things, design things the most simple way possible. There's always like good videos and stuff you can watch for things like that. There's a Bracky's video on YouTube for like GD script, like writing GD script code. I'm sure there's plenty of other programming videos too about just good like design. So hopefully that's helpful. We need some commands. What kind of commands are you thinking? Because we could totally sprinkle some in. I think I did add one recently. What was that one? Oh yeah, clear inventory. Oh, for the stream? Share? Yeah. Thanks. What's your thoughts about using AI? I personally think using AI is most of the time a crutch, where you're training yourself to be reliant upon a tool that does it for you. And so you kind of like, you're not really getting better at programming by using AI. It's like a cheat code. But the thing with AI and what's always going to happen by the end of it is that the way AI designs code is really bad. So it's fine. Like, it's fine for a quick little initial thing, but then as soon as you start like getting deeper into your project, you're going to start to see issues, and the AI won't really know how to fix them. The AI doesn't understand like the project as a whole, which is the big issue. And yeah, I just think like it's kind of I don't know. I mean, why do anything if you're not the one doing it, right? Why would I eat food if I have the robot eat my food for me. Like, that's at least the way I usually feel about AI stuff like that, where it's like, I want to make a game, so I usually, like, I want to be the one creating things and putting myself into the project rather than, you know, introducing this middleman to do it for me. And in the end, like, most of the time when I see people try and use AI, they end up spending so much more time trying to make it behave and do what they want that they might as well have just learned how to code in the first place, and they would have got things done much faster. So, chair, get good to Godot, or how to Godot, yeah. We could add all this. We could add a chair command pretty easy. Yeah, it's getting pretty good, especially in Unity. It can build whole systems and it's content aware, but if it goes into a wrong direction, you won't be able to track down how it was built. I know. I mean, I think it's... Nothing is always bad. Like, it's not that I'm completely anti-AI for every single use case. But I think it's mainly an issue when you're completely relying on AI to be able to do anything. And that's when I think AI is bad. If you're only using AI to program, it's just going to be a disaster. As long as you know how to program and you're aware of when the AI is doing something wrong, then I think it can be a helpful tool. Because you can be like, oh, actually, I don't agree with how you're doing this. You know, get out of here. Yeah, I think that's a good use case where it's like something simple that you just don't want to spend the time to write, like a boilerplate kind of code thing or whatever. Or even like, I think a lot of people use it for automated testing of things, like writing test cases. I've seen that a lot. So I think for those cases, it's good. Really, it's just important to treat AI as an assistant, not as your main programmer, because it just can't handle it. Yeah, I mean, eventually it might do way better at, like, designing, but it's just really terrible at the grander scale, the structure of the code. But yeah. Yeah, AI command. We could add some commands in. Let's go see. I think it's really easy to add commands, because we just go into here. Yeah, these are our commands. So we literally just do these. Saying chair command, we can add a chair command. I know that we have these command received things. Yeah, these, here we go. All right, what do we want the chair command to say? Yeah. Chair in the bottom was requested by... The chair in the... Yeah, the chair in the bottom left is there because Yoshik replays. Replays with an S? I didn't even realize that. Bottom left is there because Yoshik replays. Wanted a camera. No S? Okay. Wanted a share cam. Sleeve Oshik, okay. I'll specify here. Twitch viewer. Wanted a camera of my chair. Since I'm sitting on my chair, I instead just slapped a PNG down. Now it's a 3D model you can spin. There we go. So I have to save that and then restart the overlay, and you should be able to use the chair command now. All right. Oh, wait, I opened it on the wrong screen. Hold on. I'm sorry. I need to open it on the left so that I don't get, like, blocked. Because since the screen now is 1440p, I can't, like, move it anymore. All right. Wait for it to load up and then give it a try. All right, go ahead and try. Is it not working? Is there something else that I have to... Oh. Whoops. My bad. Hold on. There you go. Epic. Sorry, I almost missed this message in here on YouTube. How did I learn GDScript? What I did for learning GDScript was just throwing myself at it. I didn't even really watch a whole lot of tutorials or anything. Before I learned GDScript, I had kind of done a lot of Game Maker and also dabbled in Unity. I was also in university taking computer science, so I'm already familiar with code at that point and how to program. But I just dived into a project I worked on for like a week. It was basically, I just told myself, okay, I'm gonna experiment with this new engine I haven't touched before, see what it's all about, see how the language is and stuff. And then after that happened, I was like, this is a pretty cool engine. I actually do like this engine. So that's how I learned GDScript. It can be hard to do that if you don't already have a solid grasp of coding, so keep that in mind. It's not that I would recommend doing it that way. But yeah, if you haven't programmed ever, I would probably watch videos and stuff or get some kind of like help. Otherwise, if you already know another language really well, I say just jump into it and start messing with things. Just see what happens, experiment, That's really what I was doing. All right, so I think all the UI is good. Let's make sure, though. Tutorial is fine. Building menu is good. Research is good. Blueprint menu. Also, this is another menu technically now. It doesn't matter. I knew I used those sounds somewhere. I forgot that I already used the hover sounds for the tool wheel. That's kind of funny, actually. Alright, thank you. It's kind of hard. I started with Unity and Roblox Studio, but I switched to Godot, and I'm not that good for now with it. Yeah, no, everybody starts out sucking at whatever, I mean, I used to be terrible at Godot. I remember it was a struggle to do anything. I didn't really understand what nodes were or anything. I think a big thing to learn about is just the structure of everything, like how nodes work and all that, right? That really helped me. Once I understood that old nodes were basically just classes, then I think I started to kind of get it. So, hey, Devnin, welcome in. How's it going? So today's evening with playing Starground multiplayer. Let's go. Found out that the gas mask isn't working. Oh yeah. Here, let me give myself one. We can go ahead and test this really quick. Well, that's interesting. I can't seem to open my inventory now. Now it's opening the Tesla coil? Not sure what's going on with that. That's really odd. Okay, well, clearly there's still some funniness with the building menu, so we'll work on that. Let's go test this though really quick. Let's go to one of the dungeons and get a poison cloud. Actually, I can just summon in a poison cloud. We can say, I think it seems poison cloud. Let's go find what the poison cloud is. Oh, it's in enemies. It seems to be working, at least for me. You just have it inside your inventory? Seriously, when I watch your game, watching mine, I feel like I suck. Nah, don't worry about it. The thing to remember is that I've been working on this game for well over a year. So, you know, keep that in mind. This is not something I just woke up and did in a week or whatever, right? There's been so much, you know, refactoring and stuff like that, so... played over Steam. Okay, so yeah, it's probably a multiplayer bug is my guess then. Also, ads are over on Twitch. Sorry about that. By the way, is the FPS dependent on the network speed? 3 to 5 occasionally when network conditions weren't good. Interesting. FPS should not be tied to any network stuff. Sometimes people have issues on multiplayer when people are in dungeons doing stuff. It can cause like really bad lag spikes on the like automation area. That could have been what's happening. I still have no idea why that happens. It's frustrating. I've tried to fix it before. Also, I'm gonna swap to chair mode. We're gonna do 1 hour of standing stream. And then an hour of sitting, and then standing, and then sitting. Actually, FPS dropped when a lot of enemies spawned. Yeah, that seems to be the what can cause lag on multiplayer. It's really odd. It's been extremely hard for me to figure out why that happens because it doesn't happen on single player. It's only on multiplayer. I don't know why. But yeah, it's definitely frustrating. I'll keep trying to look into that. So yeah, gas mask issue is probably just it doesn't work on multiplayer for clients, so we can go ahead and I don't know why. I don't think it's the game stuttering. I think it's literally Godot, because whenever it stutters, Godot freezes too. Any wrong chunk size? I have no idea. I have been tackling this issue for a billion years, and I don't know what causes it. I've tried like completely changing all the nodes, and it's extremely frustrating. It might have something to do with the spawner node. Maybe it's just laggy when it runs or when it instantiates an object. I really am not sure. It seems like it's usually like related to enemies spawning. Or enemies, specifically enemies spawning other entities. I don't know, it's really odd. I've got to dive into it more. Okay, let me go ahead and test this out. So we got just a new world. And let's join. Bessie also said it's a good game. Well, epic. Thank you. Tell them I said thank you. Oh, did I not host on localhost, or did I not enter it in? I might not have. I think I just clicked join. Now I gotta wait. I should add like a cancel button here or something. If they can't find the server, you actually entered in something wrong, just so we can exit out early. Trying connection with lobby ID 0. Here, let me just reopen. Tutorial re-showed up after changing the player name. Yeah, the tutorial stuff is whack. That's actually, I just changed how it works recently. Tutorials will now be like kind of attached to your user data. So if you've played on a world and you've already finished a tutorial, it's not going to play again on a new world. I'll probably add the ability somewhere to clear out your tutorial data in the options so that you can replay them if you want, but yeah. Okay, multiplayer, manual, host new game. Let's make sure that's what we're doing here. Now, manual, local host, connect. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on cheats. Gas mask. Oops. And then let's give it to that person. Let's go ahead and say create res, scenes. Oops. Use poison cloud. Oops. I must have done it wrong. Res scenes, enemies. Here, let's... Scenes, enemies, poison cloud. Am I doing it wrong? Let's just copy the path. Okay, I must have typed it in wrong. Oh yeah, so that's really odd. I see what the issue is here, though. So it looks like it's just that the artifact immunity is not being calculated, because you can see it's technically working on this client, but not on the server. And since the server handles the management of player health, that's why it's broken. So, well, we can easily fix that. All we have to do is go to wherever we check for the gas mask. Yeah, check artifact. In our case, it was the other way around. Oh, that's odd. Well, that shouldn't be possible then. Because basically what I do here is I say if we have a gas mask, I say if we don't have poison, then push the effect poison to my resistances list. So I don't know why that would be happening on as a host. That shouldn't be possible. Another bug, if you consume food, it doesn't get subtracted from the joined client. Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and write all these down. I do appreciate it. The bug reports. Food consumed on client doesn't get decremented. Gas mask doesn't work? Question mark? Let's go ahead and go into the dungeon. Maybe it's like something that has to do with the poison cloud. It's not properly checking for poison resistance. Specifically with the poison cloud, is it from a ranged weapon that deals poison damage? Or is it from an enemy that shoots out a poison cloud? We can test both, it doesn't matter. Why does Godot keep stuttering? I need to reload Godot. Yeah, enemies in the purple boxes, okay. Oh my god, Godot, come on. Let's go ahead and just go break one of those and make sure that it's working properly. Yeah, it should be completely fine if you're the host. It's really odd if it's not. Yeah, I'm not taking any poison damage on this build, at least. That should only happen on for a client. So I'm not sure. Let's see, check artifact. Yeah, this only happens for multiplayer authorities. I guess I see no reason to do that. Yeah, because we also need the light scale. So let's go ahead and just move check artifact out, so that will also work now for everybody, for the server too. And that should fix any multiplayer issues with the artifact not working. Yeah, I mean, I can't seem to replicate the issue, at least on my end, of the poison not applying. We can go ahead and go to Dreadcap and get him to spawn in some poison. Yeah, it just doesn't do anything, so I'm not sure. Must be some weird multiplayer thing, but hopefully moving that function out to run on the server too will fix any issues with that, so... Because it seems to be completely fine on single player, at least. Yeah, it's definitely odd. I don't know why those guys are taking poison damage. They shouldn't. Did I not give them a poison resistance? Maybe I didn't. Moonshroom. Yeah, I just never gave them poison resistance. Oh, is Tesla Core the most OP weapon? I finished him alone before he even spawned ads. It's pretty good. I mean, the Tesla Core doesn't do a ton of damage, but it is just a nice boost on top of your regular weapon. So... yeah, it's nice to be able to... Oh, is it doing more damage for you or something? That could also be a multiplayer bug. I wonder if there's like an issue where you can like click and hold down or something on multiplayer. Let's go ahead and test that really quick just to make sure. 16 damage per 1 second. Okay. Did the game close? Yeah, this is something that I also seem to be having trouble figuring out why it happens. For some reason, the game will crash when you close it. I do believe it has something to do with the dungeon, probably, but it's hard to say for sure. Yeah, I also said food doesn't get consumed for clients. We can go take a look at that. I probably just need to send a signal back to the server telling them that the food has been consumed. Because let's see, whenever it's like a toolbar, use item or something. What is it called again? I forget what the function's called. I guess it's just in tool action. Let's go look at that function. Action press tool action. There it is. So that's creating a projectile. Okay, consume item. So yeah, that should happen on the server. It's odd if it didn't. And then the spawn scene. Yeah, if is server, then it should spawn in that scene. And then item consumed. If server, inventory.remove amount. It might just be that it didn't get updated on the client, like visually, but it might have still actually decremented it. So let's go double check that. Give myself some apples. Oh. Join again. Enable cheats. Alright, so I've got 99 apples over here. Put in my hotbar if I eat one. Seems to update here. I'll probably retest all these things through Steam because it might be something specific to that. At least the issue. Because oh, but sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Because I just consumed that one and it did not. So that's interesting. Wonder what's up with that. Yeah, now it's just not doing it. That's really odd. But if I go ahead and like move this item, does it update? No, it's still definitely 98 items. So that's quite strange. If I consume them on the server, does it also? Seems okay. Then if I pick them up here again... That's really weird. Am I getting any errors in here for the RPC call? No. Consume item. If consumed. So where does consume happen? This might be the issue here, where it's like the food cooldown. Because maybe what's happening is on the server, that food cooldown is actually different. I bet that's what's happening. So if I like give it enough time or something, that doesn't seem to matter though. Let's go ahead and just say if is server print consumed, or just print consumed in general. See what happens here. Because it should also be displaying that animation like on the server, so it might be that it's just not updating for some reason. Oh yeah, you can see it's just not doing it, which is really odd. I bet what it is that the code that handles the food cooldown on the server doesn't actually work. So I think what we need to do instead is just handle the cooldown from the client and then just send a signal to the server telling, hey, I consumed this thing. Right. It's probably what we should do. Yeah, because we have item effect over there. Yeah, let's just change consume item to be a regular function. It'll handle all that stuff. Or actually, let's do this. Consume item RPC ID 1. So that it gets ran on the server. Any peer. So now it's going to check all this stuff from the server side, and then it'll send it back like the effects. So we got item info, consumed, eaten. So I don't have to check anymore if it's the server or not. Consume item. Heal amount. Consumed is true, eaten is true. HP goes up. We apply the effect, but say this is an RPC. This is getting the spawn scene. Okay, so we're going to break this up into... Down here in item effect, I'm now going to... move this stuff over. Let's see, get consume sound. Same with like eaten right here. Right, we play eat food. Then we also set the food cooldown. I'm just going to have some things in here. Eden is a bool. Consume sound is... I'll go ahead and just pass in the item ID. So now we say item effect.rpc item ID and handle all the stuff in there. Well, let's see. I also need to know if... Let's just do it this way. Guess we'll also pass an item ID. So if eaten... We'll just say down here at the end, item effect, if eaten or consumed. Like that. And then in here, if we say, if we ate it, or if food was consumed, then we eat our food, set our cooldown. So then the only other thing we have to do in here is just the effect of actually consuming the scene or whatever. The sound that it does there. This is another thing that we need to do right here. Which is count, wherever that is. Oh, that just passes here. Let's see here. This is setting our item texture to null whenever we fully consume the item. Well, I can just calculate count again. It's not really a big deal. I'll just say if inventory get count item ID. Dude, I cannot type. Less than or equal to 0, then we say the texture is null. And that's also only if is authority. And now this also needs to be an RPC call local. Oh god, what is happening? There we go. So get rid of that. Yeah, what we're basically doing here now is just kind of centering the item consumption around the server instead of the client, so that the server handles all the processing of everything, and then the client, it'll just receive a call to display the visual effects of the consumption. It's just better that way. I've started to do that a lot more as time goes on, going through and making more things server-sided. It's just more stable that way. Okay, so all that should probably be good. So yeah, this is something that I'd like to... I guess we can just run this code again. It's fine. And then let's get item info again at the beginning. That's where we do our item consumption stuff. We should also do I even use item consumed anywhere? I don't think I do, but... might as well do it. All we say is, if is... no, we don't say that. If consumed, item consumed.init. Doesn't matter what order that goes in, but we'll just do that. Okay, let's confirm everything here is good now. The only issue with this is on multiplayer, this value won't get updated for a while. Oh yeah, it is missing item ID. Thank you for catching that. So we can't really check that count. I think what I'll just say here is new count. And then say if new count is less than whatever. So we kind of like know the true value on the server. Because we say remove amount, now we can say item effect. Item ID, whether we did that, consumed, and now we get our count -1. I don't even need to know count right there, really. I guess it's just because I was already... 729 needs a... yeah, I just did that. Alright, I think we should be good to go now. Let me just confirm all this. So this is going to say, as long as we have items, go ahead and try and consume the item. If we are attempting to, we say we haven't eaten or consumed. We get our item info. If it's a healing item, add HP. For item effects, if our food cooldown is down and stuff, then we're good. Apply the effect of the items. If it has a spawn scene, then spawn in the scene on the server. If we consumed it, then remove the item from our inventory. And then if we've either eaten or consumed, then that means we run all that stuff. Run the effects. So then the effects are, we play the swing, we set the current cooldown. If we've eaten it, we set the food cooldown. We play the audio sound for eating. We emit item consumed. Set the texture to null for the authority. If we spawned in a scene, we get the sound. If it exists, then play it. Yeah, that should all be good, I think. There's one thing in here that I was going to change, I thought. What was that thing? Oh, yeah, I just wanted to check, like, I want to confirm. I'm pretty sure that player health is handled on the server. Yeah, you can see HP and current HP is synced on the server synchronizer, so we are good to go. Alright. Well, that should fix the consumption bug. Thank you for catching that. I still don't know what's up with the gas mask. I'm pretty sure that should be fixed now, though. It probably just had to do with the fact that the server wasn't calculating the artifact stuff. So, like, it would technically look correct on the client, but the server would still be saying, hey, your health is dropping. So, at least that's my guess. We'll see. If you publish a new version tonight, we could test it tomorrow evening. Yeah. I can put up another experimental build. I was probably going to do that anyways, just to test a couple more things before I put this on the main branch, so I can do that tonight. EX2. Oh yeah, I'm already connected. But I'll go ahead and connect again, make sure the item consumption stuff is working. Let me give myself an apple. Seems normal. It played the effect for everybody. My food timer is going. Something I probably need to fix though is with our food timer. And also current cooldown. I need to make sure that the those subtracting actually gets ran everywhere. Because now I think on the player, I give myself another apple. Oh, yeah, I don't have permission. Hold on. I think I'll be able to eat it once, but I think when the cooldown one actually, yeah, doesn't actually decrement. So we'll have to fix that. Because also the place where this gets processed to, like this is checking the current food cooldown stuff. And process hotbar. So that needs to change. Alexa, fan on. Oh my man. My skin is... Okay. Let's go back up to item effect. So what is happening here? We are setting our current food cooldown and current cooldown. So that should be okay there. It just must be that these things are not being calculated on the server, which is the issue. So let's fix that. Let's go get our current food cooldown and find where it's being decremented. Yeah, it's right here. Stuff like that really shouldn't be an authority thing anyways. Like, it just doesn't make any sense, right? Hey, Inferno Dust, welcome in. It's going pretty good. I am just currently fixing a couple bugs. Minus equals 1 times delta? What's the issue with that? Okay, yeah, so I was able to eat another piece of food. For some reason, it's not visually updating, and I have no idea why. But that's the next thing we're gonna figure out. It's also not playing the animation. I think that's actually what's happening. I do that so that I can decrement the timer. I could use a timer node, but I already have so many nodes in the player, I just kind of do it in code. Sometimes it's easier. Right. It also allows me to have very fine-tuned control where I could, like, just stop decrementing it for a minute and stuff. I mean, I don't in this case, but I could use a timer node. Why does minus equals delta doesn't work? Yeah, I guess you're right for this case. I mean, usually I do 1 times delta because I'm typically changing the speed at which it decreases. You know, because I'm always going back through. I'm like, okay, I'm going to up that to 3 delta. It's just kind of habit at this point. But yeah, we could just do delta. It doesn't really matter, but... I'm learning Blender today. Like, I learned how to model and texture a tier today. I learned how to extrude making a bowl for my game, or a bowl item for your game. Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing a Blender like tournament thing, a little challenge. if people are interested in that, because I think it would be pretty fun. Yeah, let me know if anybody wants to, would want to join in on something like that. It would basically just be like, we give you guys a theme, and then you have to model something based around the theme, like a game jam, but for Blender. And then whoever gets the most votes gets a reward. So... Okay, so let's figure out why it's not. It's probably, in here, I bet it's because it's not. Yeah, that's why. So back to item effect. It's because we have to say any peer. And that should fix the issue with the multiplayer not showing on multiplayer. The other thing that might need to be fixed has to do with the regular cooldown, the current cooldown here. I don't know if that's going to be decrementing normally. Because the place where that happens is inside of, like, the tool processing. Down right here. I know, one times delta, I'm sorry. Because I only decrease it if this stuff is true. Or whatever it is, if I can actually interact. I mean, we can see what happens if I move these out. So current special weapon cooldown and just regular old current cooldown. I don't know if this is going to cause issues or not, but we'll see. Oh, wouldn't mind joining that? Yeah. Well, good to know. I'm trying to just get like a head count of how many people would actually want to do it. Because if there's only like 2 people, then it's probably not worth the time. But Blender, I barely know her. So use Blender for 3D, Piskel for 2D, Godot for full games, and Roblox for mini side games. Yeah. Never used Piskel. I think I've heard of it though. Piskel. Yeah, it's like the online editor. Alright, let's try this again. Host a new game. I gotta change my name. Okay. Connect on that client. Alright, no idea what's gonna happen here, but let's try it. So if I give myself... Also, let's just experiment with the tool cooldown stuff right now. Like, is that all behaving properly? It seems to be. So we're probably okay. It's also... Let's go ahead and give myself apples. So if I consume apples on the server, everything should be absolutely fine. Let's see what happens if a client consumes apples. This is the client, right? Yeah. That's looking good. The animation played there. I'm pretty sure it also played over here because I think I heard 2 sounds. Let's just wait for the cooldown though. The cooldown does seem to be updating and decrementing and everything, so it seems to be okay. We just have to make sure it also... Yeah, animation played on both. Item is being deleted. Cooldown stuff seems okay. Cool. I think we're probably all good to go then. One thing I'm going to do really quick is give myself a Tesla core. Oh, this is the client. Also do crate, res, scenes, tool bench. Because I want to quickly make a custom weapon or whatever. Give stone 99. Oops, that's a little bit too much stone. Whatever. Yeah, the secondary cooldown seems fine. Changing also where these are decrementing means now they're just gonna continually always drop regardless of what UI you're in and stuff, which I think is actually kind of nice. They'll still change and update when you swap your weapon out, but like let's say for example you use the Star Launcher. It's a pixel web editor. It's not the best, but I came to like it. Yeah. As long as it works, right? Game looks nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So like, okay, if we have a cooldown and then we teleport down, you can see the cooldown will continue to drop, which honestly, I think it's fine. I mean, there isn't really ever a time where I want to stop the player's cooldown from resetting or whatever. And if there is, I can always just add that into the code. But I don't see why it has to be like in all of the authority events and stuff, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So I think this will probably work. It fixes all the consumption issues, and it just makes things more reliable. The only thing I probably want to check is like, what happens if I like die? I can't like continue hitting or something, right? No, we're good. Yeah, so no, everything seems to be good. Cool. Does that bug still happen where if I go back here and start typing or whatever? What was it again? Is it where you have to open escape? Okay, well, whatever it is, it doesn't seem to happen anymore, so I think we're good. All right, I think everything's looking good then. I'll mark that down as a fixed bug. Also just mention here, made it so cooldowns will always process regardless of movement limitations. Fix an issue where food was not properly consumed on clients, on multiplayer clients. Ooh, I always like to say thanks in the change log if there's like, if one specific person found the bug that nobody else has, so there you go. Happy I'm finally talking to game dev streamers and eyes of a fellow game dev for once. Yeah. It was like my whole 2025 so far has been me crawling out of my comfort zone. That's great, yeah. It's really good to, like, you know, get out there and do the things that you've been meaning to try for so long, right? Yeah, I know, Gearbert. I know I found some food. Is Gearbert going to be the new most hated creature in Starground? Hopefully not. Okay, so the other bugs you mentioned were the gas mask bug. I can go ahead and test it again. I don't think that it should ever happen, as far as I can tell, just based off of the code and stuff. That's not me saying that it, like, you're wrong. Obviously not, but just want to see if it's something I can actually replicate. I'll give another gas mask to this guy over here. Yeah, it's not processing on the server anymore because now the artifact things will be processed on both, which is better because we have stuff like the light, the carrot, you know? So if I turn off the lighting and I say, or I give myself a carrot, that light radius should also expand for this person now, which just makes sense. So that's good, because then one person can almost act as like a beacon in the night for other people. Might as well. But yeah, you're totally welcome to explain your game. If you've got a link or anything to it, you're welcome to pop it in chat. Gets like clip it from Microsoft Word, yeah. Everybody hates him. Or Clippy, whatever his name is, yeah. Alrighty. Any other bugs that you seem to ran into? Hopefully both of those are fixed. I'll say, probably fixed an issue where gas masks were not working properly on multiplayer. Game isn't finished yet, no wishlist either. That's all good. No worries at all. But yeah, if you've got if you want to describe the concept, you're totally welcome to. Only that game stopper with the FPS over network. Yeah. Still trying to figure that one out. Oh, frustrating. It's just odd. It seems usually mostly fine. Like, here, I'll just go to the dungeon on this person so that we can test this out. The first dungeon seems, as far as I can tell, to be mostly okay. I'm also gonna make that other guy God. What's his name? Yeah, that's what we have the handy dandy player list for. We have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should get rid of my rainbow tag because now I have to include that. Huh? Did I find a bug? Oh, I had to say God true. There we go. I was just stupid. I don't know how to even set up a wish list. In order to do that, you have to pay the Steam $100 fee. That'll let you put your game on Steam, and then wish lists are just handled by Steam for you. Nothing seems too laggy here. This is the thing, like, it's usually okay on these levels, but then as soon as you get down to the deep dark, that's where it gets really slow for some reason. Was it specifically the lab level that you went to where you were having the FPS issues? Beat this guy with my fist. I keep forgetting I have poison resistance. Ouch. Ouch. There we go. So let's see if it's the lag is happening here. Yeah, see, this is where the lag always happens. I don't know why. Whenever these guys spawn in these little guys, the mini diadematuses, it's like sometimes they lag, sometimes they don't though, and I don't know why. But you can see it happening, where there's like a stutter whenever they spawn in, you know. Yeah, it's extremely frustrating because I've spent so many weeks of my life trying to just try everything I can to fix these issues, and I don't know. I'm not quite sure what the issue is. Yeah, it's really annoying. Maybe we can improve the error message when trying to join a lobby over Steam. Bessie had to disconnect. I couldn't rejoin until he restarted the game, so stating restarting the game is recommended. I could probably do that. What did the error message say? Just can't connect to server or whatever? Because, I mean, usually I have, if it's like a specific message, and at least I try to display it everywhere. Lobby ID wasn't found. Okay, interesting. Oh, lobby ID was not found. I'm trying to think why that bug would happen, or why you would get that message, right? Oh yeah, apparently also I think Spore can be really laggy too. It's just like spawning. I need to make it so those guys are resistant to poison, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what causes all the lag. I mean, we can see, I know what is like technically causing it. Like as I hit this guy, you can see those spikes. And then if we look at what those are, it's the physics time for some reason is ramping up insane. So it has something to do with the physics, right? You can see it's this integrate forces, whatever that means. I don't know. I know that Godot is very soon for 4.5 going to be doing a big change to how tile maps work, and I think that's probably going to make physics stuff like that run way better. At least that's my hope. Anyway, sorry, I missed everything else in here. But yeah, we can go ahead and add that to that error message if you'd like. So we can go into wherever we do that. I think it's like global dot error message. It's one of these variables. What is it? What is it called again? It's not mod errors. I forget what I called it. Oh yeah, the disconnect message. So these are all the different disconnect messages that I set. These are all the Steam related ones. So this is timed out connecting to host. Failed to create Steam lobby. Could not connect to the server. And then that gives an error code. Line 91. Yeah, failed to join lobby. Reason. Then these are all the reasons. Lobby doesn't exist, don't have permission, lobby is full. This one apparently this is an unexpected. Banned. Cannot join because limited account. Locked. User has blocked you from joining. Line 79. This lobby no longer exists. Yeah. That's definitely odd. Because that might, like, be caused by something like a deeper issue. We can go look through all the code for that. Oh, sorry, can you buy the Steam site for a game, then upload your game private to test Steamworks multiplayer? Oh yeah, absolutely. You can just, all you have to do is just pay the $100 fee, then you instantly get access to Steam stuff. It lets you start getting it linked up with Steam and testing it and stuff. All you have to do to give yourself the Steam stuff is you could just give yourself a developer key. It's really easy. And then it gives you full access to all the Steam stuff. So, that's it. Not bad at all. Yeah, it's extremely helpful in doing like the first initial setup of your networking code and everything. So. Maybe get the error tomorrow again, then I'll write down the reason. Yeah, feel free to do that. It probably is that one. I don't know why the lobby would have deleted itself, though. What could have happened is that, like, maybe the player got disconnected from Steam for, like, a moment, or your friend, and then that, deleted the lobby, but it didn't get recreated. I might have to create some code in the game somewhere that, like, continually checks if the lobby is still valid. And if there's an incident where all of a sudden your lobby disappears, it resets it up. Just so that stuff like that doesn't happen. But yeah. Let's see, think a supermarket simulator, but for a restaurant, 3 options. Diner, NPCs walk in, sit in a random empty seat with a menu. The waiter comes to take their order, we make the order, the waiter takes to the customer, yeah. Fast food, NPCs walk up to the counter, go to the drive-thru, they order, cashiers take them, the NPCs walk out. Yeah, walk to the pickup stand, okay. Yeah, that could be pretty fun. And then apparently there's a third. Yo, what's up, Ace? Welcome in. Yeah, full disconnect from Steam Network. Oh, okay. Oh, so they did lose connection to Steam? That's what happened? Okay, well then that makes sense why that error happened. I mean, yeah, if you lose your internet connection or whatever, your Steam lobby is going to close. So, also had Discord's or issues with Discord, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I can mention in here, you know, try reopening your game or reloading your game. But yeah, the way to fix that would be to check do just a continual check, make sure that the lobby is still valid and that it can be like pinged. And if the game fails, or like if we're in a Steam session and then the lobby doesn't exist all of a sudden, we can mark that and say like, hey, reopen the lobby. Then through his takeout, the NPC comes in, takes the order, sits down, we make it, then they take it out. Yeah. Yeah, that could be pretty fun. You thinking of doing, is it going to be like a 3D thing or 2D? What's sort of the details of that, right? Yeah, reloading didn't work. Okay, interesting. I wonder why that... maybe it's like an issue with Steam just fully like disconnected. Which might be something I need to check for. I mean, I thought that Steam would reconnect automatically, but maybe it doesn't. So I'll write that down in here just to make sure if that is the issue. Might have to do that. Steam possibly needs code to reconnect. Try restarting the host's game. Yeah, I'll do that. Alright. Well, hopefully that helps. I do appreciate it, though, finding that that seems to fix the issue. I think it's important to document stuff like that. Snooze that ad. I'll go mark that down in the changelog. Added more information to Steam error messages. I found a nice translation bug. Oh yeah, what's that? I want there to be options that our restaurants have, like diners, Mexican restaurant, fast food, yeah, Wendy's, Burger King, stuff like that, yeah. So be 3D, yeah. Could be cool. I always do love games like that, like almost like a tycoon game, you know, where you make money, upgrade your stuff, buy bigger buildings and more equipment and hire people to do it for you and stuff. That's always fun. Yeah, it could be cool. Present should have been translated as gift, but actually it was present tense. Oh, okay. We can fix that error right now if you know what it should be instead. What language? German, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah. So, okay, yeah, this right here. Yeah, this is just a Google Translate, so I'm not surprised it got it wrong. I hate having to use Google Translate, but it's a major issue when there's huge gaps in all the translations. It usually does okay like 90% of the time, so I'd rather have that than have 80% of the game untranslated. But it's good. I mean, if you ever spot any issues like that, yeah, just let me know and I can go in here and replace it with the correct one. Is there any weird like formatting I need to put in here? Not weird, but you know, like special characters, or is it just straight up Latin characters like this? Numats? Okay. Let me make sure I put this in right. Guess check. Yeah. Go mark that down. Yeah, thanks for letting me know about that. Yeah, if anybody's ever playing Starground and you notice an issue with translation, definitely let me know. Because I am happy to go through and fix that. I think I still have the link to the translations. I can fix it myself. Okay. Fixed multiple incorrect translations. I'm going to put that down because there's also... Somebody mentioned a little while ago in here on the server, in the translations right here, that it should have been this instead. So I can put that in. So that's just means health bar transparency, yeah. Also in this, you have to order ingredients, unwrap them, cook them, manually assemble them, yeah. Yeah, it'd be definitely... I think it's always good to add little tasks in like that with cooking games. I think a game, funny enough, that you should probably play to get some ideas is Schedule 1. Because if you really think about it, it's kind of the exact same gameplay loop where you're like, you're buying your ingredients and you're processing them and then you're selling them to your customers, right? And also later on you can upgrade your stations and hire employees and stuff, so definitely give that a look if you haven't played that already. You guys need to go to bed and watch their next meeting in 6 hours. Oh yeah. Get some sleep. Yeah, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night. Okay, so let's go fix this translation now. So, health transparency. This is for French. So let's see, what is it set to? Oh, did I already set it? Oh, I did. Never mind. I must have done that a while ago. Okay. For gore. You know, what's the status of our other languages in here? This one is Portuguese. Portuguese is pretty untranslated. The ones that I am very careful about, like, fully translating are typically the ones that are not, or from countries with the lowest percentages of English speakers. So, for example, China. Almost nobody in China speaks English. So it's extremely important to have everything fully translated, even if it means that there's some inaccuracies. Because typically if like somebody knows German or whatever, they have a general like concept of English. You know, most people in Europe and places like that know some English at least. They might not be completely fluent, but like if there's one or two words that aren't translated, it's pretty easy to kind of understand the meaning. But for somebody that uses a completely different alphabet, like China, Japan, and Korea, it's really hard because it's like me trying to understand what this means. I have no idea. I can't read Chinese, and Chinese people can't read English, so it's important to keep those fully translated. I know Google Translate is not very accurate. I love to avoid it wherever I can. That's why I encourage people to replace keys in here and stuff with accurate ones if you see any issues, but yeah. Sometimes you've got to, though. Probably need to do that for Japanese in here too now. Germany, you have at least 7 years of school English. Yeah, see, like a lot of countries, like Germany, you actually have to learn English, so it's usually pretty, not a huge deal. Yeah, I've specifically had a lot of negative reviews related to improper translations from Chinese reviewers. Like, it's big enough of an issue for them where the game is unplayable, so that's why. So we got ads starting in a minute. My apologies. Or they've already started. Maybe you can use Twitch, stop. Maybe you can use OpenAI API to get some better context-aware translations. I could do that. I have been looking at one. Thank you for the hydrate. There's I never remember the name of it, but what is it called? It's kind of both. What is it called again? It's like a website that does. It's not DeepL. It's called something else, but they're all basically the same thing. Yeah, there's a lot of websites that'll do like AI translation, and it would probably be better. It would probably be better than what Google Translate does. I've thought about possibly just keeping the game always translated up to date with AI translation, so that if anybody notices an issue, they can go back and correct it. It's obviously, I always prefer a real person to do the translations, but it is a lot to ask, especially when I am not paying anybody to do it. So I think it would probably work. There is also like in here, like on Google Sheets or Google or whatever this is. Yeah, it's Google Sheets. There's like an AI that I can discuss. Gemini, right? Yeah. So I could ask Gemini, like, fill in the rest of the whatever. Polish language keys. And since it has access to the file, it kind of has context, right? We'll see what it says. Yeah, and users can still submit better translations, exactly, yeah. But see, then it just does it. It gives me the information here, and there it is. So, the only issue is I can't really verify if any of these are accurate. I mean, I wouldn't be able to even if they were, because I don't know Polish, but... But yeah, I might do this for now. Go through and fix all the translations up. Especially as we get closer to 1.0, I do not want to, you know, have the game untranslated. So, Gemini translating stats. Yeah, dude. You're gonna mute as you play Roblox? Yeah, do it up. The only thing, though, with using AI translation stuff is... like, Steam... I need to look at that again. Because Steam is a thing where you have to mark your game as using AI. And I do not want to use AI if it means I have to mark the game as using AI. I don't know, like, what counts, though. I mean, this is a pretty minor thing. It's not... I think that might only be for generative AI, like generating images and assets. This isn't really generative. It's just a large language model. I can't remember where that is in Steamworks. It's like... it might be in Steamworks settings, or it's probably in store page, and there's probably a disclaimer that you have to fill out somewhere. Somewhere. It's adult content. Accessibility, anti-cheat. Yeah, I don't remember where that is, but... yeah, I think it's specifically more for, like, yeah, like an in-game AI thing, or with generative AI where you're using AI images and things like that. But I don't think necessarily that using AI for translations would really matter to Steam. So yeah, it's probably okay. Before I do any of that, though, I'll definitely dive through the Steam documentation, just make sure. Because I do not want to do that. I don't want to be marked. And also I don't want to accidentally break the rules and just be, it's fine, and then do it, and then realize, uh-oh, I wasn't supposed to do that, you know? But yeah. Alrighty. Oh yeah, I forgot. It's been an hour, I have to stand again. Alright, well, let's figure out what the issue with the inventory stuff is. Because clearly there's still a little bit of weirdness going on. I don't know what's happening, really. Let's just search everywhere where I've ever mentioned UI inventory. And let's look through. So let's get in the item preview. Node name is that. It's just putting it in there. That's just saying add inventory, which should be okay. And that's doing the inventory check. That's just an open inventory, we say. Close all UI. And if player inventory visible, we show that, otherwise don't. Do I not clear out previous grids? I guess it must be what I do in close inventory, so... Because I say it's visible there. Yeah, right here I say, player inventory is that. Item preview.close. Is it in there? Yeah, we say right here we free the grids, so it should be okay. I just wonder if there's somewhere where I'm saying visible false on here, where I'm not like doing close inventory. Welcome back, Oshik. Do you think Gearbert is a disciple of the Tree of Wisdom? It's a good question. What do you guys think? I love choking on my own saliva. He could be. I don't know. I feel like Gearbert's probably doesn't know about him. But it's hard to say. Gearbert has to be very wise. He's a tutorial guy. Well, Gearbert is like, he's not like wise. He's like, but he's got like, you know, smarts because he's a robot. So he's got a lot of information for you, but he's not very like wise, you know. That's what the Tree of Wisdom's got over Gearbert. I'm calling it a day. Thanks for the stream and have a good one. Sounds good. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your night. Yeah, I don't know. That's something for you guys to decide. Is Gearbert wise? Okay, so this is canceling. That should be okay. Just saying if the pause menu is open, close it. Otherwise, close all the other UI. And then if UI is open, close all UI. Otherwise, toggle pause. Should be okay. So this is where we open up our inventory. We say if we just pressed it, inventory, and oh yeah, or our inventory is already open, and our distance to the interacted object is larger than our range, then we say toggle UI. It'd be funny for Gearbert to have a wise tree face for a sentence. Yeah. Only happens one time in the whole game. That would be pretty epic. We could do stuff like that. It's easy now that I can just swap out the sprite, so texture. Tutorial menu. Yeah, I don't really see any other weird stuff in here. I mean, this is for interaction. It's just making sure. Let's see. Why is this? This should all just be if UI is not open. Yeah, it is. So I don't need to check this anymore. Okay. I guess it just must be something wrong with our toggle UI function. So let's figure out why it doesn't work. Oh. Am I just stupid? I'm saying node visible false. I have to say close UI. Yeah, I might be stupid, guys. Let's try this again. When's the last time I made a sandwich? I mean, not like a super long time ago. I'd probably say like, because I've been having a lot of like dinner leftovers recently. Well, I've been not having lunch or breakfast a lot. So I'd say probably like maybe a week ago. I think the last sandwich I probably had was a peanut butter sandwich. So it's pretty yummy. Yesterday, I did not have a sandwich yesterday. I didn't have much yesterday. I almost ate nothing yesterday. I had a little bit of soup and some noodles. That was about it. You guys, are UI normal now? Let's make sure. Yeah, okay, so it's no big deal. It's just that I was accidentally saying... I was doing the wrong thing. Where I was saying, whatever it was. I was just making the inventory invisible instead of actually running the close inventory script, but now we're good. Alright, so now it's nice. Our UIs are all good and tied together and automatic. Check it in, check it out. Some ways of your mind. Oh yeah, cursed. I'm never gonna give this blueprint to anybody. This is mine only. I'll only give it to special boys that deserve it. Having a mobile trading terminal is kind of cool. Your boy Gearbert is spitting right now. I know, he keeps yapping. Okay, Gearbert. There we go. I have to build a furnace. Okay, bye, Gearbert. Bye-bye. That's wrong, God, yeah. What can I sell? Some iron. Gearbird's so wise. I don't know. I think I'm more in the boat that like Gearbird is like Wikipedia, where he just has a lot of like straight up facts and info, but it's not like he has like the experience that the Tree of Wisdom has. The Tree of Wisdom is like street smart, and Gearbird's like brain smart, you know? Meat market looks amazing right now. Oh, let's go look. There's a meat up. 0%. Just about as standard as possible. Yeah. The market that's really good right now is the Sod Star arm market. 71%. Sheesh. That's why Gearbird is a disciple. Yeah. Cole looking good right now? Cole is not looking good right now. Yeah, he's book smart. I was never book smart. I'm money smart. Tree of Wisdom. Did he say that? Blueprint. No more. Get out of here. Apple farming be good right now? Let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, apples are pretty good. 7 for 1. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, it'd be fun to add more. I would love some lines for the Tree of Wisdom that are like different. Where it's like he does something unexpected or whatever. Maybe he does a little laugh or something, you know? I don't know. The Tree of Wisdom laughing would be awesome. Or maybe some of them he actually asks you a question, or he's like, what do you think about this? Or and then based off of what you answer, you get like a little reward. I want to make it so listening to the Tree of Wisdom is actually a good thing. Because I mean, yeah, it's epic that you get wise lines, but you'll never find the bodies. And when he says that, he just looks dead at the camera. Yeah, that would be epic. No. It would be crazy if he said that quote and then in a different dungeon room you find like it's just filled with like gravestones. It'd be crazy. I guess if you were a murderer burying bodies, you wouldn't bother with gravestones though. You would just bury them under the ground in dirt. Lawyer up, yo. That would be awesome. With a Saul license plate. Or not. Yeah, no, Saul's, yeah. I guess you found the body. Yeah, you get a reward for finding the bodies. Yeah. Would be pretty funny. What is that? SDIYBT? What does that mean? Oh, that's funny. When I go to rotate an object, it opens the UI. I just have to make sure that in here, specifically for the research menu, is that the building is not open. There's no egg behind me, stop looking. And then there is an egg behind him, yeah. So let's go to open UI and stuff. Research menu. Alright, now that shouldn't happen anymore. What do you mean Delta time ruined? Whoa. Shh. Back to normal, baby. Caster, I hardly know her. That's insane. Yeah, if you guys want to add some more lines to the Tree of Wisdom, feel free to send them to me, DM them to me. I can add them in. Pumpkin. My inventory is full. Did you know? And he doesn't say what you know, yeah. Did you know? All right. I mean, everything's basically ready to go. We just have to fix the tutorials, resetting every time you join a world, but that's super easy to do. So these will show in here. It should already be saving, I believe, the ones that you've completed already. So we'll go double check on that though and make sure. Oh, that's funny. I have to fix that, or it doesn't replace the key in here. Okay. Sorry guys, didn't mean to be nefarious. Oh yeah, also, I added another tutorial for going to Tyria. Whoa, thank you for the hydrate. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we added a new chair command. I was tired of explaining it. That's good enough. How to Godot. I mean, I don't mind explaining that every time, though. It's all good. Taxes. How do I do my taxes? Well, it depends on your filing status. Are you married, single? I don't know how to do taxes, guys. That's what my accountant's for. We could do a commands command. Might not be a bad idea. What is going on? Did you guys see that? How did I even do that? What? I'm not sure what I did. You saw that though, right? Where the thing was visible. Oh, is that what it was? Oh, I know what I did. So I did that. I got out of the tab. No. I alt tab. And then when I go back in. No. I don't know how I did it. Oh, I figured it out. Okay, there's a moment in there where you can... No, it actually had nothing to do with keyboard stuff. So you do this, you click off of it. And then it's like this. Well, that's a bug we can fix really quick. I don't think it'd be too hard. So I think what's happening is that I'm on it. When I click off of it, it shrinks. But it doesn't seem to call the mouse exited signal. So that our tooltip is still visible here. I think we can fix that. Yeah, it's whack. Huh? Oh, can I mouse over planets that aren't visible? Uh-oh. Okay, that's another bug. Well, it's okay. Now we know how these things happen. Can mouse over planets that are invisible. Then the other bug was can click on the edge of planet to keep tooltip open. We'll fix all that. Yeah, it's a funny bug. And yeah, you shouldn't be able to do this either. Be able to view the planets out of the screen. I'm just gonna have to have some check if the planet's actually visible or not. I don't know how I'm gonna do that because it's... I don't really know. I mean, there's the is visible in tree function that you can call, but that's only if like one of the nodes in the tree is marked as invisible. So it doesn't really work in this case because it's not that it's invisible, it's just cropped out of the screen. I guess I could check like the global coordinates or something. Or maybe we could do a check in the camera just to make sure that that position of the planet is actually in view of the camera, maybe? I'm not really sure. I guess we could do an on-screen notifier maybe also. That might work. Because since this is a camera, I think the on-screen notifier should work. So we'll probably work on that. Can we have a wise tree redeem where he sprouts out from the bottom of the screen, gives a wise line, stares at the camera for a little bit, and then leaves? That would be pretty cool. I'd have to model in a 3D tree of wisdom. But that's fine. I mean, technically I can just do it with a 2D image, but it'd be cool if he has 3D though. That's all I'm saying. Do we want to pivot now? I was talking about earlier about maybe swapping over to the maze game or messing around with other stuff, so we can if you guys want. So hey Ryan, welcome in. How's it going? I'll mark it down in here though. Tree of Wisdom. Point redeem. This is right, you made it with a PNG face, yeah. That'd be so cursed if I upscaled the pixel art thing and then like blended the real face into the tree. Yeah. Did I accidentally whitewash the Tree of Wisdom? I kind of did. It's okay, I had to fit it in with the palette, guys. Turia. Opus. If the middle is 0, you can do visible as ABS planet position. Yeah, I could do that. Just check if it's inside of our like mask rectangle. I do think I should be able to use on-screen notifiers in this case, because the way that I'm rendering in this view is actually it's a sub viewport with a camera. So I'm pretty sure the on-screen notifier would work, because it'll be like, okay, you're off screen over here because the screen technically in this context is here. So I'll probably do that. I think it'll work. But yeah. Viridian. Let's go to Viridian, guys. Whoa, we're at Viridian. Don't really know Godot specifics. Maybe a how to Godot command would help. Oh boy. You guys. But your method would probably also work. Alright, I think the UI stuff is all good, as far as I can tell. The only other thing we have to test it with really quick is controller. My handy-dandy Xbox controller. I'm glad I bought it. It's so much easier to test UI with it. Or not test UI, test controller. Huh? How did I just open the Discord invite? That is something. Was I somehow selected it on the pause menu? I think I am. Somehow I was selecting the Discord button at the same time. So you can hear me clicking things. I just opened the Discord invite again. Gil, that's a bug with controller. Anyways, let's test all the other buttons. Opening a UI, closing it, pressing pause. Yeah, it still definitely is a bug though, where if you have a element in the pause menu selected, get out of it and go in here, it's still selected in the pause menu. I wonder how long that's been like that. That's very odd. I thought you could only have one focus node, though, at a time, right? So how would you be able to focus on two nodes? I don't know. It's kind of odd, isn't it? I forget how to make a new blueprint. Oh, right, it's a tool. So we can select our... Whoa, 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 whoa. New bug spotted, guys. Oh, actually, it's not a new bug. That's just how I do it with blueprinting, I think, on controller. But it's a little funky. I would like to change it. How can I cancel the blueprint? I don't think I can. I should be able to press circle on it, and then it goes away. Because, like, that's what I do on mouse. But yeah, why is it going, like, from the top left over there? Is that just because that's where my mouse is? It is. Alright, so we're going to work on fixing that, too. This is why I do random things all the time. Blueprinting is a bit broken on controller. We'll fix that. And then also that other bug, which I have no idea how it happened, but pause menu button can be selected while in another menu on controller? Very odd. Just pressing random buttons to see if anything else happens. I realize A doesn't have any bind. I mean, I know it's like the interact bind or whatever, like when you go in here to select things. But I wonder if I should make it so you can also open a building by pressing A instead of left trigger. I don't know. Maybe. I still stand by all my suggestions from eons ago in the dev chat with the controller stuff. Yeah. It's just complicated because I need to make it work for both keyboard and controller. And sometimes like the ways that you would have like certain binds in some cases with controller, like, cause I would have to make multiple like controller when in UI and controller when not in UI binds. I don't know, it would be complicated. I will one day go through and do all the controller changes. I'm still planning on doing that sometime before the full release. I just need to continue thinking about how I'm gonna do that in the proper way. But yeah, someday. I have been paying attention to controller more though. I do want to add in L and R for the options menu, just to be able to go between the different option tabs, because why not, right? It would just be convenient. A little nice convenience. Probably what I'm gonna do is play the entire game on controller. From beginning to end, just to test everything and then make a big list of like things that I had a hard time with or things I wasn't able to do. That's probably what I'm gonna do. But not right now. I'm gonna fix all the bugs first. Then we'll worry about quality of life. Alright, what do we want to work on? The tutorial stuff is basically done. Let's go ahead and just make sure that it's all linked up everywhere. Just going to here. I think it's completed tutorials. Is that being saved anywhere? No, it is not. So let's go do that really quick. So what do we save in here? We got save blueprints, skin ID, lock skins, last loaded saves. Blah, 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 blah. Tutorial. Full screen. So let's go ahead and save down in here. Completed tutorials. Then load user settings. We're gonna say completed tutorials. Yeah, this should all be good. And by default, none of them will be completed. All right, so that's set up. Now your tutorial data will save. The other thing I'm also gonna do is add a button in the options that lets you clear all of your completed tutorials. Also, another thing that I'm gonna do is inside of the tutorial menu is make it so that the buttons that are not completed yet or haven't been shown up are not accessible, probably. Because I don't want people to be accessing stuff that they can't even get to yet. I worry sometimes it might, like... I don't want to accidentally spoil things in the game and stuff, so we're gonna do that. Welcome back, Oshik. Alright, so... Tutorials key... What pressed? I guess what I have to say is make it disabled by default. Okay, so what we'll do is have another global signal in here. Up in our usual signals area. And this will be a tutorial completed. And then we go into our tutorial code. So whenever we say right here, completed tutorials.pushback, we're also going to say global.tutorial completed.emit. So now that's going to be emitted whenever we complete a tutorial. Now if we go into here, inside of our tutorial menu. So we're going to go ahead and say global.tutorial completed.connect. Also, I'm going to give this, right, the ID of which tutorial was actually completed. Because why not? So we're going to say connect to update button. We're going to have a var buttons array. So an update button, we're going to say for I in buttons if, and we'll actually set the meta again. So button.set meta ID ID if button dot get meta ID, and let's also make this an array of buttons. Is equal to, then up here we say, yeah, that's fine. Then we know that it was a button that was updated, and we say button dot disabled is false. We're also going to do the same thing down in here. We're just going to check somewhere in here. If global.completedtutorials.has ID, then we're going to say button dot disabled is, I guess if we say it doesn't have it, then say it's true, it's disabled. All right, and then whenever we're in game and a tutorial is completed right here, then we go ahead and say update button because we connected to tutorial completed. That'll find out which button is the one that we need to update, and then say you're no longer disabled. We can click on you now. All right. Should be good to go. Also, it's just saying here, on a tutorial to view it. Say center that text. All right, so let's try this out. Let's also get rid of that chunk of code in the game that's resetting my tutorial progress every single time. Right here. Save that. And before we fully go into everything, guys, let's go back to the options menu. And I want to add a button that lets us clear our data. So I don't know where this would be. I guess just in general at the very bottom. Thank you for the speed, Ryan. I appreciate it. Add a button way down here. And just add some code to, here, rename this to delete tutorial data. I'll just say reset tutorials. Give it that. Give it a signal. Why can't I just easily connect it to myself? Why do I have to like browse through every single button? Maybe there is a way to do that. Go to source? Oh my god. Okay. Now all we say is global.completed tutorials is equal to nothing. And that's it. And what I'm gonna do in there, I need build preview, couldn't parse. Oh, I love it when global doesn't parse. It's so cool. Ah, we're in a parse loop. Reload the project. Oh, that track I made for the new dungeon. Do you feel like there's too much space? I feel like it needs more stuff added to it. Also wouldn't want to push it. I can give it another listen. I think I did listen to it on stream one of these days. Sorry. I know you get angry. I'm sorry. Okay. I can't parse main because... Okay. Why was that there? God dang. I really hope main doesn't reset itself. I love when that happens. Sorry, the music is really loud. I turned it down. Please. No. Okay, it's okay. Everything's fine. These were never used anyways. The username and connect IP I used to, but now they don't work anymore. Okay, this is normal now. Back to the options menu. So reset tutorials. Something we also have to do here is emit a signal for every single tutorial that we just updated. So what we need to do is say for IN, do this. Saved tutorials. So now for IN saved tutorials, we have to say... We have to do the opposite of completing somehow. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I guess another signal. So we'll just have another signal tutorial reset. Yeah, so anyways, that's a song. I think it's nice. I don't think... I think it'll be fine, because the thing is, the music is always going to be in the context of, like, all the other sounds in the dungeon. There's going to be sounds of the player moving, of things breaking, of enemies dying and attacking, and decorations breaking, and also, on top of all that, there's the sound of, like, the wind and the ambience and stuff, so I think in-game it's not going to sound very empty. We can go ahead and put it in and actually load into the dungeon just to give it, like, a listen in context of everything else happening. So we'll do that in just a second once I fix this this thing in here. So I'll just say global tutorial What is this complaining about? Tutorial reset. It doesn't let me actually do it though. I love when Godot is all broken and stupid for some reason. It's actually really funny and cool. And yeah, you're right. My brain just goes, could be more stuff here, but I'm like, that's almost all the music. Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, I'll go ahead and load it in, and we'll give it a full listen in game. Yeah, I think with like the dungeon music, less is more. You don't want it to get too annoying. All right, tutorial reset should be fine now. So last thing is whenever the tutorial does get reset, if we have the tutorial menu open already, then we have to connect that up to the signal and just say tutorial reset.connect update button. Let's see, update button, we just say function disable button. ID, we do the exact same thing here. But we say disabled is true. Yes, sir, there's a new dungeon. I'll show it to you in a minute, Oshik. Disable button. All right, so this should all work now. Let's put in the music. Also, really quick, I don't know if I've created one before or not, but I would like this reset tutorial button to be red. Just to kind of indicate that it's like, you know, ooh, scary. So let's see if I have done a red button. I have. All right. Also, I realize it's the wrong size. There we go. Is there anything else I need to do? Yeah. Let's go add in the music. We go to the regions. Let's go to bedtime. So now we're going to need Starground region Caligo 0. Load. Music. Ooh. Did I have light beams? I might have. Apparently I did not. Where did I thought I put light beams somewhere, actually. Maybe I didn't. Let me go do that. Oh yeah, you also put the music cassette in there. We can... Light beams. I did not put light beams in yet. We'll put that in too. Did I put... No, it's Caligo. Have you not seen anything about Caligo yet, Oshik? Sub-Zero. I'm gonna have to rename light beams to that. Music cassette track can be added way later when those are actually in the game. Yeah, that's fair. I would like to actually do that soon, though. I think it'd be cool. As it's like another little reward to get in the dungeons. I'll put it down. And it's fine if we only start with a couple. I mean, we're gonna name them with underscores. It's all good. Don't worry about it. And this one is Sub-Zero. All right, let's go ahead and launch it. Make sure everything is working. I'll turn on the music. Yeah, it's the ice dungeon. That's Caligo. I'm pretty sure you've seen Caligo. If you've been to any of the recent streams, you should. Okay. So now there's a scary reset tutorials button. So doing that, boom, my tutorials just got reset. So let's go ahead and do the tutorials. And then we will make sure that, restart the game and make sure they've saved. I'm like 99% sure they will, but you know, just want to make sure. Ad Astra. Okay, so now if we quit out of everything. Did it save yet? The game saves like every microsecond, so it should be okay. Okay, let's load back in. It's nice when I'm standing up because I can just kind of walk away. I don't have to get up, you know, I'm already up. Then I can jump. Can't do that when I'm sitting down, guys. Okay, now we go to new game, see if the tutorial plays. It probably won't. No! No, no, no! Yeah, we'll fix that. But it does show that these were already completed, so it's just an issue with the tutorial pop-up. It's not really a big deal. Let's just go to our tutorial thing. Where even is you? Where is the tutorial? It's in here. Huh. So it shouldn't even be adding them to the queue, right? Because completed tutorials are here, unless I'm like resetting it again by accident. Yeah, if it doesn't have it, push it back, admit. Should be okay. Completed tutorials is user data get. Completed tutorials. Let me make sure that's the exact same up here. Completed tutorials. It should be okay. I'm not sure why it didn't work. Huh. If it doesn't have it... I mean, I guess we don't need to check here. We just say go ahead and try anyways, right? Because if it doesn't have it, then we know we need to do it again. So if it hasn't, push back, admit. If I get out of here, is it always going to do it every single time? No, so it didn't do it this time. Which is odd. If I now quit and load the game again, does it work or does it not? I do not know. I'm not sure, guys. I don't know. Why would it not work, though? Doesn't make any sense. Okay, it's fine this time. Maybe I accidentally hit reset tutorials like while I was in the middle of it or something. I don't know. So let's just test it. If I hit reset tutorials now and then I go back in, should be fine. Yeah, so now it's playing all of them again. And it shows those 3 that were queued. Let's just make sure it works with, like, the other ones, too. It should be absolutely fine, but... So if I give myself an apple... Now it should show... Yeah, food tutorial completed. Alright, cool. I think I'll also... Mine as well. There's no reason not to add that to the main menu, too. So let's do that. Now, the only thing is the main menu is getting kind of long, right? There's a lot of buttons here. So where would I add this? Any ideas? And then we'll go listen to the music right after. I guess I could replace one of these buttons with a H box and then have like 2 buttons in one. You're saying bottom right? Yeah. I could. Kind of like how the language and Discord button is in the bottom left, maybe. Or just add that over there. We could create like a little, yeah, a little tutorial. A small icon on the right of single player. Oh, okay, that's what you're saying? Yeah, yeah. We could probably do that. Yeah, like an open book icon. I'll probably do that. It's time for me to sit down again. Yeah, let's do that. H-box. Oh, goodness. What has happened? Why is the H-box so big? What? Oh, there we go. Customize can also be that, but on multiplayer. It could be. I don't want people to ignore it, though. Like, it's fine if people ignore the little tutorial button, but the customize is kind of important for setting your username and stuff. So I'll probably keep that one. But we'll see. So now we add a button. And now let's go draw an icon. We're going to speed draw, guys. Great. What does a book look like? That's atrocious. That needs to change. It's okay if this icon's a little larger. 17 by 17, I know it's cursed. You're thinking no negative space? I feel like I might need it, though. Here, this can go down now. Also, I think the part of the issue is this up here should be like that. Like, the pages should be extending past the... like that. Catch my drift? What would it look like that? I think that looks okay. Enchantment table, yeah, dude. That's good enough for now. Icon tutorial. Alright, you ready to listen to music? You know, freaking listen to some freaking music. So we want this to be, yeah, ads are incoming, so we'll wait for those, but if I extend this past the size, it's gonna be funny, right? Yep. That's super cool. But there's a solution to this. Is we just keep the button where it is, then make this one a child of the single player button, and say layout mode is anchors. Set it to center right. And for transform, let's see here. I probably need to add a control node. Put that as a child of the control node. Anchors. Top right. Now this button I can just do position. And we give this like a size. So these ones are both 32 pixels. So I'll make this one 32 by 32. And now we just adjust the position. Oh, also we set the size of this to be 0 so it's consistent. Excuse me, game. Oh. There we go. Give it like a gap of 4 pixels or whatever. Check it. But does that look stupid? I don't know. Yeah, it's a little odd. I might just make one of these buttons like 2 buttons in one. Like credits and quit could just be 1 button. Because like you don't need a whole big button to read credits or quit. I think I'd like that better, personally. Whoa. Thank you for the hydrate, Agon. Credits next to Discord. Yeah, we could maybe do that instead. We'll see. We can move things around pretty easy. Is menu too big here? It might be. I could actually shrink this menu a lot. All right, really quick, let's just link this button up and then get a move on here. So it's going to be just like all these other buttons that gets pressed, like this one. Oh yeah, just say hide menus. I'll probably need to reference that node and hide menus. Nope, it's already done for us. All right, let's just go check this really quick. Super duper ultra mega quick. And then we're good. Yeah, we'll probably reposition that button. I think I'm just going to merge some of these buttons into two smaller ones, because we don't need big wide buttons for every single thing. So now if we hit that, boom. Shows all the tutorials here right from the menu. And it works with all the other ones, so... Cool. Alright, anyways, let's, what do we want to do here? We're gonna go load up a save and go listen to the music in the dungeon. So let's go do that. As long as you're still here, Ace Man. Epic. Whoa. But yeah, it's gonna be layered on top of all these other sounds, you know. With the enemies and stuff. Like breaking decorations, movement. Yeah, red barrels explode. I know, it's crazy. Yeah, the enemies here are still temporary, so we're getting there. Yeah, he's yapping. Get out of here, Gearbert. Yeah, I think it's fine. I actually don't have the ambience in the game yet. That's the reason you don't hear it. But that's gonna add yet another layer to all the noises. So I think it'll be fine. Right now this is just raw player sounds. But I could go ahead and do that really quick. Shut up! Gearbert, I hate you! No, I don't hate Gearbert. So let's find some ambient. Let's search for Blizzard. Like the company. I'll turn down desktop audio. That one's a little too crazy, probably. Don't like the company? Me neither. That one is for when it's like really storming, you know? That's better. No. Yeah, that's nothing. I mean, that one's peaking, so no. Too insane. I wanted to feel more... I don't know. Like, not super bassy. Maybe like that. Yeah, empty factory ambience could be cool. Ooh, empty. Yeah. Ambience 2. Abandoned warehouse. I do kind of like that vibe of like you can hear like the pipes and stuff in the background. We can also look up like warehouse. Jeez. It's an empty missile head. Crashing starship. A twister. Okay, what about a warehouse? Empty warehouse. Something like that could work. It's one of our options. We've also got like... No. No. This one has wind. But there's dogs barking, so that doesn't make any sense. What about this one? I don't want it to sound alive, right? It's got to be like empty. What if we have frozen dogs? We can. Strong warehouse loop. Oh, I kind of like that little, you know? This one's actually pretty good. Yeah, I think this is my favorite. Because it's got like a couple noises, like some metal creaking and stuff, but it's like mainly, but it's also like windy. I think this one will be the play. Yeah, cats and dogs would be crazy. We could just just for fun add cats and dogs. Why not? But they're frozen. They're frozen in ice. They're ice cats and dogs. It kind of almost makes a little bit of sense, because, like, it is almost like a mansion vibe. Maybe people would bring their pets here, I don't know. Or would have. Frozen cats and dogs that enemies kick. I don't want animal abuse in Starground. I'm fine with slaughtering them if it's the player's decision, but... Thought of a frozen night? Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of games that do the, like, cold, like, medieval castle kind of vibe. It's almost what we're doing a little bit here, but it's almost like a... more of a mashup between, like a steampunk, diesel punk vibe with a mansion. A mansion. I think this is where Darius was born, guys. I think new lore just dropped. I think Darius was born on Caligo. I think it's the only thing that makes sense. I think he wasn't like a worker there. He was like part of the estate, you know? Let's make sure that this loops and stuff. It looks already pretty good, but let's play it and see. Dude, it loops perfect, brother. Beauteous. I love when people actually make good sounds. It's crazy. I don't have to do anything. So we'll rename this to Caligo Ambience. Yeah, I think that is the lore, guys. I'm pretty sure it's canon now. Pretty sure that Darius was born in Caligo. Now let's go add that ambience in. Right here. I do have support for multiple ambiences if we wanted to. Maybe that's something that we'll explore another time. Because we could like put multiple in and then it'll just randomly pick which ambience to play. But I don't know if that's something we even need. Oh my god, Godot, come on. Stop being stupid. Caligo Ambience. No, it's a WAV. It's 6 megabytes. Time to convert. I like Convertio. Hope you know you've got me doing the Darius ums right now. Darius. I was born on Caligo. A lot of them WAVs too. The only ones that I have as WAVs are things that are short. Like all of the music in the game, they're all OGGs because they're so long. Same with the ambience. At least I'm pretty sure. The ones that I have as WAVs are all the like short sounds because then it's better for performance to Dungeon 1 ambience. Oh, okay. I did not know that one was a... Oh yeah, let me look at these. Okay, one... It's just one, I think. Yeah. So I should change that. Yeah, I changed all the music to OGGs. How big is this file? Oh. But it's only 3 seconds long. So it doesn't matter. It's only 500 kilobytes. It's not a big deal. But yeah, you can see like all these WAVs are pretty tiny. They're all like a couple hundred kilobytes or less. So I think it's okay. But yeah, usually anything super long. I'd say anything longer than like 10 seconds becomes an OGG. Like the shredder sound, that is an OGG. It doesn't need to be, but 500 kilobytes. All right, let's put this back in. I just downloaded it twice. What a fool. I would love to keep Starground under a gigabyte for full release. We'll see. Start the music from the overlay. Oh, yeah, we can go ahead and do that. Well, I'm going to put this new ambience in, though, and then we're going to listen back, so... One moment. But then I'll put it back on. So get rid of... It's not music. It's in sound effects. It should be. I'll delete the WAV. Okay. Did I name that Calig? I did. Awesome, dude. Okay, we gotta restart the game, believe it or not. Okay, fine, I'll sit up. Fine, guys. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Okay. The name Caligo means darkness in Latin. Which the whole planet's covered in oil, so I figured it kind of made sense. Also, the other reason, honestly, there's the music, is just because it sounded different from all the other names, right? I spent a while, like, messing around with names and stuff and, like, doing, different translations of Latin words, because Latin sounds epic. But I like Caligo, because we don't have a planet that starts with C. I realized I kind of made a mistake with Tephra and Tyria, because they're so similar to each other. I always kind of, didn't like how close they are, but Caligo's completely different, so it's better. I mean, it's different enough. I'm not going to go back and change the name of Tyria or Tephra, but it's fine. Maybe eventually Tephra becomes a moon of Tyria or something, because then it'll make sense. It's funny that I just called the moon Enceladus. It's like not even a fake name. That's just a moon in real life. Alright, let's go to Caligo. Let me pause the music again. My family owned the entire planet. We need the oil. Dude, Darius is totally an oil baron. Why did that show me the dungeon tutorial again? I thought I finished it already. Same with food and power. Didn't I finish those? That's a little odd, isn't it? Unless, like, the auto-saving, or I close the game before the game had a chance to detect that it's done. I don't know, it's a little suspicious. Completed tutorials. Load user settings. Completed tutorials becomes that. I know it's all correct. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably okay. I have to actually make sure. I mean, closing out of the game every 2 seconds is probably why. But yeah, this is what it sounds with the what it sounds like with the ambience. I think it's nice. This is without the music on. It's just a subtle kind of stormy wind. And then with all the sounds of everything else, I think it'll be fine. You know, it's totally up to you, though. I mean, if you feel like you need to change it, you're welcome to. I don't think you need to, though, personally. Yeah, it is a little hard to hear the ambience, I think. What I can do is go into down in here, and I can tell the game what volume it should play at. Right here. So let's play it at maybe plus 10 decibels or something. Oh, yeah, desktop audio is a little too low. Whoopsies. I turned that back up. You should be able to hear it better now. But let's see what this sounds like just a little bit louder. A 5 decibel boost. Dude, I love getting text messages from random people saying that I have been charged $900. It's totally real, guys. I should totally pay them. I should totally give them my bank account info to double check. But yeah, I gotta mention that I added these tracks now. Oh. Is this an audio bug right now? This should be impossible. No. It's not playing from there. Where is it playing from? Did I accidentally play it in the editor or something? Oh my god. Okay. I had 2 games open. It's okay. Okay, there's no bug. It's not real. Gotta watch out for stuff like that, though. That'd be scary. The audio system's so reliable. If there was a bug, it would break my heart. I've never had any issues with it. Okay, let's make sure we close the other window. All right, the audio should be a little more audible now. And then, did this finally finish? Yeah, the dungeons one is in here, so I hope that it doesn't play the dungeon tutorial again, because I will freak out. Now we're fine. Whoa. I didn't think it was going to make it that loud. Oh, I think by default the ambience is set a little lower. That's why it's so freaking loud. I think it's, what's the default volume of the ambience player? Like when it lerps back up to the volume or whatever. Here, let me look in here. Okay, the default is -10. So that's why this is so extremely loud. We just want it to be a little bit higher than -10. Say like -5. Okay, my ears are bleeding from all ends. Oh yeah, I talked about the hook game. Yeah, I think I could use a little bit of like, I don't know what it is. I kind of felt that a little bit with like, I was a little confused on versus whether I had to hook to shoot or not. And then once I realized that shooting was dealing damage without hooking, it was like, ooh. So yeah, it'd probably change how that feels a little bit with the gameplay. Yeah, sorry, I kind of didn't leave any of this feedback back when I played it, Oshik, but I should have. It also just felt like things were way too fast-paced, where like the enemies were coming in way too fast for me to gather my bearings. I think slowing enemies down a bit would give me more time to actually interact with the hooking mechanic. And then maybe they can speed up way later on, but at least early on, I think they should be way slower. Give me more time to process what's happening. All right, so this is the volume of the ambience now. I think it feels about the right volume. What do you guys think? Should the ambience go up or down or what? Yeah, I think it could be just, I might knock it down just a few decibels. Just like -7. But I feel like around that range is pretty good. Okay. Cool. That's in now. Think it'd be easier using the mouse. It would definitely be way easier with the mouse. I had a hard time trying to aim with the keys and then also shoot with the keys. It was just very like, and then also at the same time move with the keys too. Everything being key based for that kind of stuff I think was extremely difficult. When it comes to like side view shooters and stuff like that, like think of like I don't know, what's a game that does that? Like Stick Fight, for example. I really prefer mouse movement for aiming. Being able to use both my hands, it gives me so much more coordination. So yeah, I think that would definitely be a good idea. Change the aiming to be Portal Flash, maybe. I don't know, I haven't played that. Yeah, make the aiming be mouse controlled, and probably also the key that you press to activate the hook also with your mouse, like left or right click. I think that would help a lot. Keep all the movement stuff, probably keyboard, and then the shooting and looking with mouse, that would be my pick. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would experiment more with the gameplay stuff, or just the, not gameplay, but controls. And yeah, make enemies slower. I don't know if that was just a delta time miscalculation thing or something. It could have been, but it seemed like they were insanely fast. I was like, oh, I can't go fast enough. Couldn't process it. Anyways. They are fast? Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I think they could be slowed down a little bit. Just a tad. Yeah, the skull is really fast. Here, I could load up the game again really quick. I do have to end stream. I gotta end a little bit earlier today than usual, but... Oh yeah, I already downloaded it. Yeah, we can boot up the game and discuss this a little bit. Which was the one hook game? Here we go. Yeah. Hooker game. See, I think having to use my like arrow keys at the same time, it's really complicated, the controls. If I could just aim with my mouse, it would feel so much better to play this. I would also love if I could both hook, or if I could at least hook with my mouse or do something with my mouse. Yeah, I think aiming with mouse and left click to hook, and then spacebar can be shoot instead of shift. Shift is kind of an odd key to press because you have to do the pinky. Usually Control, Alt, or Shift, those kind of keys, I only would say use them if it means just holding them down to do like a Shift plus key instead of just Shift, because it feels very, very clunky for me to hit Shift to shoot. Not gonna lie. But yeah, just some feedback. And I'm sure that it's in the works, but I think the assets need to be upgraded, obviously. It's just placeholder art for now, right? Yeah, I know I can look up with the arrow, but it's like, it's so, it's like, I feel like my brain is having to remember a billion keybinds right now. It's like, oh, okay, wait, guy over there, shift left, and then spacebar to hook, and then shift again, and then up with arrow key. Yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, I think what would really help is just make the movement follow mouse. And also give me more precision if it's going to be with the mouse, because one thing I also found is, like, when you look up, it kind of does, like, a set angle, which means, like, it's really hard to, like, aim, because I have to be also physically positioned right, but at the same time, I have to be avoiding the other enemies. So yeah, mouse to move, to look around, I mean. Left click to hook. Space bar to shoot. And then WASD is fine for movement. Yeah, the Starground system. Basically, yeah. I think that would help. Yeah, it could be cool. It reminds me of, like, the original Risk of Rain, like the 2D one, or like Return, like this one. I haven't played this game, but it looks like it would probably do that for the movement. I have no idea though, or for the aiming and stuff. I do want to play this. I think, don't I have this Risk of Rain Returns? Let me see. Yeah, I do have Risk of Rain Returns. I bought it and I just never played it. I should play this sometime. Yeah, like, I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily be a floating hand. It could also just be just an arm that's like a separate sprite so you can rotate it. But yeah. So hard. I never completed a run, yeah. Interesting. It does look really cool. I do want to play it. I'll probably maybe I'll play it tonight if I have some time. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, anyways, that's gonna be it. Apologize we couldn't go for longer, but I have stuff I have to go do before it's dark. So, yeah. Don't like Risk of Rain because of the time mechanics. So, like having like a time limit to do things and stuff, or what? I played Risk of Rain 2. I know in that you have like... The enemies do get harder with time. Yeah, time is difficulty. That's fair. Yeah, it's definitely like, I think that mechanic's fine when you're good at the game, but for new people, it's extremely hard. I remember the first time I played Risk of Rain 2, I was like, this game is like impossible, what? But I realized it was really just because if you're even just a little bit faster or better at the game, it becomes exponentially easier. So like once you get better, it's like you can do the monsoon difficulty with no issue. It's like not even that hard. Monsoon. Shut up, me. But yeah. Who do we want to raid? Goob is streaming. It's been 14 days since the last stream, yeah. Let's give him a raid. All right, well, thank you gamers for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. See a little dot on my camera? Where do you see that, huh? Might need to run a sensor clean? Yeah, I might need to. I'm trying to look for it. If you want to send me a screenshot of where it is, just so I know, that would be nice. It's on my face? Oh, okay. I am not seeing it. Huh. Okay, we'll try it. Yeah, try and send me a screenshot. Oh, is that it right there? It's not just on my screen? Yeah, I see it now. I see it. When it's on my hair, it's easy to see. Yeah, I'll run a sensor clean. All right. Well, anyways, thank you everybody for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. Also, you said, yeah, I like how Isaac does it. Yeah, I think that's the way to do dungeon difficulty is like, just get harder as you progress more rather than a time thing. Because I feel like sometimes it's a little unfairly punishes you for, you know, I don't know, thinking and making good decisions. So, all right, we're gonna go raid Goob. Thank you guys for coming. This update will probably be out on the experimental branch very soon, and at the latest, it'll be fully out on the main branch on the 19th for the 1-year Steam anniversary. It's going to have a bunch of bug fixes and a new conveyor change and all that stuff. The new sounds, billion things. I also do want to take a look at buildable flooring. I probably won't be able to get that done in time for the 19th, but it would be really cool if we could place down floors. So we'll see. All right, well, thank you guys. We're going to go raid Goob. I'll next be live on Wednesday. We'll probably work on the maze game, or maybe we play more Voices of the Void because it's a fun little game. So yeah, we might do that. All right, I'm going to start the raid. Goodbye, everybody. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.